Which of your plants holds the most sentimental value? For people who aren't so keen on houseplants, this might seem like an odd question. They're just plants. How can they hold sentimental value? Yet I am pretty certain that all of us who participate in the hobby have plants that are very sentimental for us. They may have been given to us by somebody important in our lives, or perhaps we bought them from at a particular time in our life, or at a certain place. It could be a simple case that you find yourself in awe of a plant, which really just sparks joy for you. For me, answering this question is tricky because many of my plants hold sentimental value. I think my most valuable is probably my Thanksgiving cactus because it was entrusted to me from my aunt and was her mother's before that. Followed closely by my aspidistra, which also has family legacy. However, a while ago my sister gave me 4 coffee plants in a pot. More recently I split them up, with the intention of swapping 3 of the plants for a different kind. The weird thing is, I can't bring myself to do it. Not with the coffee plants or any of the other plants that she has gifted to me. I have certainly propagated many of the plants that I've received from her and shared the propagations, but never the parent plants. My sister would not even be slightly bothered about what I chose to do with the plants that she has given me. She would just be happy that I'm sharing the love. A beautiful illustration of her character in this way is that she was recently telling me that she'd like to save up for a variegated monstera. She would propagate it and give it away to people who can't afford one. How lovely, right? Anyway, I know full well she'd be perfectly happy if I gave away the plants that she'd shared with me. So I've been reflecting on what it is going on here. What is at the source of wanting to keep those plants, and why does it matter to me? The thing is, I realise that it's not just plants that I do this with, it's possessions generally. I don't keep much clutter in terms of things that I've bought for myself, but when it comes to things that people have given me, it's entirely different. I struggle to pass on and rehome these things or even use them up if they're disposable. These cherub candles are a perfect example. My mum bought these for me as a joke about 10 years ago. Can you see that one of the wicks is singed? Shortly after receiving them, I went to burn the candle and enjoyed the soothing flickering light, but had to extinguish the flame before it burnt the cherub. What on earth? I know my mum wouldn't care at all. In fact, she is pretty horrified that I still have these, and even worse, that they still have pride of place in my home. They do make me smile for that reason. I enjoy the absurdity and remembering the amusement of receiving them. But the idea of using them up and then being gone makes me feel a bit, I'm not sure, but there is definitely an uncomfortable feeling, so for sure I have a pattern of behaviour. My sister would say that this is a classic case of transference. I am redirecting my feelings of wanting to help to keep people close to me onto objects. So in terms of the plants that my sister gave me, I miss my sister. She is important to me and I want to keep her around me, so I transfer these feelings onto the plants that she gave me. Does that make sense? I think she has a point, but it seems a very complicated thing. Please tell me that other people do this too, especially with their houseplants. This week I have been really challenged from 2 sources. Firstly, I took part in the Money Attraction Challenge with Tasha Chen, which was suggested by my friend Dina, the play expert at Safe Haven Foundation, who I mentioned in my post Playing with Plants. I took a lot away from the course, but one of the most profound things was that money upsets me. I spent a lot of time exploring how the idea that I deserve money makes me feel, and first and foremost, it makes me feel upset and angry. For me, money means inequality, and that is abhorrent. I detest the idea that some people have money, others don't, and this somehow relates to our worth. This is at odds with how I think. We are all equally deserving of money, so if I have some and others don't, that is troubling to me. Again, I tried to explore why this is, sitting with the discomfort of those feelings. My conclusion again was that I think I might be projecting and transferring my values and feelings. For example, I know lots of people who have very little money and don't see themselves as less or lacking at all. My younger brother is a perfect example. He has been through some hard financial times. This is upsetting to me because I loathe the idea that he might think he is lesser because he has been broke. I loathe the idea that he might think I am better because I can cover my bills. In a sense, I am creating the inequality between us because I perceive our differing financial status in this way. The reality for him is that his life is beautiful and full, and there is nothing lesser about it. In non-financial ways, he is far richer than I am. He has a diverse and vibrant community around him. He is adventurous and almost just blows where the wind takes him. His existence is great. I can tell myself this, but I still feel discomfort about it. So I suppose the conclusion I should draw is that I don't feel I deserve money. Another lesson that I learnt is that my thinking is small. On the course, we played around with money, imagining what it would be like to have certain amounts and what we would do with it. I found that my instinct was to save and hoard it for a rainy day or to feel secure, yet it was pointed out to me that what I'm really doing is taking the approach that money doesn't come my way often, that it isn't abundant, and there will be perpetual rainy days. This was very challenging for me. I didn't even complete the 5-day course. I realised that my approach is to keep and hoard. Just like with houseplants and cherub candles, my general outlook is that bad things will happen. Things you love will go away and nothing lasts. So the natural response is to try and keep, save, control and mitigate. To proverbially bottle up the precious things for the future when they're gone. The other source of challenge for me this week was while scrolling around somewhere on social media aimlessly. Not really paying attention, I stumbled across a little inspirational message saying something like, "Don't hold on so hard, appreciate what is in the past, but everything changes, nothing lasts, so celebrate right now in all its glory." I just made this up, but it was something to that effect. I wish I had saved it. It was another profound moment for me. I realised again that I do hold on to things too much, specifically the good things. I don't think I hold on to negative things, but by holding on so hard, the good things can feel sad or cause me to feel anxious. For example, when my husband goes for a cycle, I often feel anxious because I'm afraid of him getting hurt and how I would cope with losing something good in my life. I think this is probably learnt behaviour because losing good things has happened and it's a normal part of life. My response doesn't centre around how lovely it is to have a cool outgoing husband that does cool things. It centres around how awful losing that would be. The outcome is pretty miserable. So this week, on Sunday, he went for a long cycle. He was out for a few hours. With my newfound insight, coming from sitting with and exploring these uncomfortable feelings, I worked really hard to change my thinking around. Usually when he is out, I will monitor him through a real-time tracker that he uses, and my brain will regularly jump to worry. This time, I let go. Actually, I had a nice time being home alone, in the moment, and he was back before I knew it. It was a much easier energy to sit with. In a similar way, I think I use photos to try and hold on to beautiful little moments too. I like to take pictures of little things that spark joy. I know that there are lots of articles about millennials being too busy on our phones taking pictures and using social media to be actually really part of the beautiful thing that we're experiencing. I get that. I think it might be true for me and a bit more too. I am busy taking photos of beautiful moments that I don't lose them. In reality, they're going to be lost regardless. If I'm fortunate, I might remember them. This is normal and fine. The photos on my phone are backed up into cloud storage, and each day I get a little "on this day" update, showing the photos I've taken on this day through the years. I love it. There are so many little things that come up that were lovely to revisit. However, the updates are often upsetting too, because there are times and people gone by. As an aside, I remember my friend saying to me years ago, "Humans are funny things. We can't let ourselves be happy. If we think of something good and happy, our brains will automatically jump to how it could go bad or something negative." I remember thinking at the time, not me. Smug, right? Well, now I totally get what she meant. My conclusion is that I need to continue to challenge myself with this. An outlook on life where I let go and whatever will be is far better for me. It is interesting that I had thought I am pretty good at using mindfulness to stay present and generally have a positive outlook on the world. And I'm actually a positive person. I'm sure those in my life would describe me as positive. However, the exercises and work I've done this week have caused me to notice this chasm that is ingrained in my thinking. The reality is that tragic things happen in life. My takeaway from tragic experiences so far has been to try and hold on really hard to good things, because I have learned from experience that they go away. So having anchors to those good things has been priceless for me. However, I think that maybe what has been happening is that I'm holding on to the good things so hard that I'm not being present in the moment and appreciating right here, right now. What's more, I don't think it's possible to eliminate negative events and feelings in our lives. Arthur C. Brooke wrote in this article that even if we did eliminate them, we will be poorer and weaker for having done so. To this end, as I have a lot of work to do with myself on this, I'm going to give away one of those coffee plants, and I'm going to burn those cherub candles. Even as I'm writing this, it's making me upset to think of it. I'm okay with that though. It is an opportunity for learning and growth. I called this blog "Sitting with the Discomfort" because I think sometimes I need to take a good long look at myself, even when it causes unpleasant feelings and discomfort, to be more okay.